Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks. Welcome to another stream. Today is the start of the 1982 season in the Classic Rally competition. So I'm really looking forward to this because this is the start of Group B, and we got 14 very good cars this time, and I've test driven all but one of them already, and I can tell you this one's gonna be close because they are all good. So yeah, this is really gonna be a lot of fun to watch, man. Like this season is, I think, it's gonna be closer than ever before. And with that being said, I'm gonna fire up BeamNG. Hey Sedan 57 Chevy, how's it going? BeamNG should appear on your screen in a second. Okay. So the first race we said was gonna be on Italy, and it's gonna be the mixed circuit. One lap only, and I'm gonna start with my own car. Now, since you last saw this car last Sunday, this has gone through a few tweaks as well. Hey Gerbil Derp, how's it going? Just finished breakfast, gonna relax and watch this and maybe play some Warzone. That's nice. I mean, have you had a good breakfast? You know, they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Anyway, so for this car, when you last saw this last Sunday on Pikes Peak, this made only 240 horsepower, and now I tuned it up a bit. Yeah, now it makes 270 horsepower, and the gearing is a little bit longer. I feel like the longer gearing may actually maybe cost me a bit of time here and there, but that's it might benefit it in other ways. Oh yeah, it's spaghetti. That's a nice breakfast. How do you how I film the rules videos? Okay, so I'll show you this. Okay, so BeamNG has the UI app that you can add. That's the replay, right? So the replay. So if I press Alt plus R, it's gonna start the recording as I'm driving, and then I press Alt R again when I want to stop recording, and then I can watch that replay, and in that replay I can set the camera to external, and that's how. And then I'll record that with OBS. That's how I did it. So it's a recording of a recording, effectively. Bad start. Really should have kept the gearing shorter with this. Okay, and this might happen on some other cars as well. This corner is deceptively tight, actually. You really need to brake earlier for that than I did just there. This is also very tight. But now you can open up. Gonna take third through here. Gonna brake for this one because otherwise we might damage the car. Oh no, yeah, don't get too far left there. Should have asked a month ago. I've been wanting to do stuff like that for a long time. Oh, so you're wanting to make your own videos like that, okay? I'd be interested to watch them. Interested in watching them, I think is the correct way of saying that, but... Too fast, still. This track is actually not that hard. I just gotta get back into the rhythm with it. And if any of you guys have any ideas of what other tracks would be good to see with Group B cars that also won't kill me, then let me know. Because I know, obviously, that the king of rally tracks is, well, depending on how you look at it, is probably Pikes Peak, the long version, but other than that, it would obviously be the Italy mixed hill climb, but in the later Group B seasons that we're gonna have, I don't really wanna think about... Come on now, camera reset. I don't really want to think about like a 500 or 600 horsepower Group B car going up Italy mixed hill climb. It's it's gonna be, yeah. It's gonna be difficult. Let me just put it that way. Here it's really gonna be important to have the grip and the downforce, because you can really lose a lot of time here if you need to brake a lot. Now this upcoming left is also slower than it looks. Like, you really gotta careful about it, otherwise you're landing in those rocks. Okay, I'm not gonna cut this corner like this with any other car. So just for the record, I'm not cutting any corners. Of course, the 360 right there at that spot is obligatory for every lap. So gotta repeat that on every single attempt. Otherwise, it's not a valid lap time. So this lap time is trash, 2:48. We're gonna see much faster than that. My car is actually front engine. I'm glad I didn't pick an even larger body for this year. I don't think it would physically fit between some of those walls. Yes, rule 5.8 A4, do a 360. Exactly, that's the one. Now for our actual first competitor, the Armor Rallyhawk. This is of course made by Armor Motors, and this one makes 302 horsepower. Yeah, I think most people actually went front engine this time. Now that I look at these cars. And indeed, I think all but one cars, like all cars except for one, are all-wheel drive. So, and I think that is gonna be the main reason why this is gonna be so close. Let me try that again. Can I not launch this in boost? Apparently not. Okay, so I need to work on my braking point with this car. I don't have a clutch button on my assigned to my controller. I drive without clutch here. Okay, so I really gotta get used to. Sure, I can show off each car a little bit. Okay, so this is the Armor Rallyhawk. So this is a pretty tiny car. 2 huge rear wings and a rear diffuser. Very boxy, sort of 80s look. And as you can hear, it's an inline 6 turbo engine. Here this thing feels super stable and agile. Thankfully you can actually go through those signs, and thankfully I was only a little bit late on the braking there, because if I had been any later I would have been in those rocks. Come on now. For some reason I feel like the brakes in this car aren't quite up to par. which is not something I think I've said about any other armor car in any of the other rally seasons so far. But yeah, first contender already quicker than my car. 247.8, but what did you expect, you know? Next up, the AZLK R5 Turbo. Run is invalid, you didn't do a spin. Zero out of 10, no dead spectators. I mean, if we could somehow add spectators to these time trials in BeamNG, that would be sick. I mean, the same way you can add traffic in, you know, free roam. It would be awesome if you could add spectators on these time trials. Imagine spectators on like Italy mixed hill climb, and then and then you make a mistake. Oh boy. My car would clearly be best at murdering spectators. I think there's one or two that would be better at murdering spectators. This is the AZLK R5 Turbo, by the way. Also inline 6. One fake side by one real one. Sort of looks like an old Mercedes wagon, but with a big wing stuck to the rear. Oh man, like this thing is so big. I mean, this is gonna be a problem in some of these cars. Oh, and by the way, did I mention how much horsepower this makes? This makes 324 horsepower. Come on, like this is like when I test drove all of these cars, I can shed some light onto that a bit. I test drove all of these cars except for one on the automation outside loop, basically, but in free roam, so not against the clock. And maybe I shouldn't have driven them there, because that is a very smooth circuit that doesn't test the ride quality as well as maybe this track does. And other automation outside loop, which by the way is not a part of this season. But there, like all the cars felt good. I'm gonna tell you that much. Thanks for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Your name is too long for me to read it out immediately, I'm sorry. The engine shut off. I wish to make memes. Okay, so that's your name. The launch of this car is sort of a meme, isn't it? No offense meant. Thanks for following Riley2007. Hope you're enjoying your time here on the stream. Didn't lose too much time there, but like this is the annoying part here. The engine shutting down. If the engine stalls again, I'm gonna reset once more. There's no torque in this thing, I couldn't leave it in second gear there in good conscience. Okay, let's see it. Can this beat the armor? I think it's looking likely. It's gonna be close though. Not quite. Damn. Highway to the dangerous zone. New car building. The world's scrap car. Build a cheap car. Well, this is not what this stream is about. I'm sorry. We can do that in the future, but for now we're building 1982 Group B rally cars. Next up, the BAC Raider RXA. It's large enough to be a house. It's large enough to power an entire house. Probably, I mean, it makes enough HP to power a whole house, probably. So the BAC Raider RXA is built by Gerbil. It makes 245 horsepower. And it's got pretty sick styling, actually. It's really colorful and very, very racy. Very yeah, very boxy, very 80s inspired, definitely. And I love how it says Hanks and Derp here on the driver's side window. So basically, me being the driver and you being the co-driver, I suppose. This is another turbocharged inline-six, but this is sort of a low boost approach. So there is very little, or, well, 1.6 bars, but there is less turbo lag than with other cars. A little bit less downforce through here as well as in other cars, I think, or at the very least, not the same balance. Okay, that was me. That was my mistake. Now, ultimately, this car only makes 245 horsepower, which is among the lowest in this competition, but you gotta put that power to the ground, and I think that's where this car does better than most other cars. So we're gonna brake for this. And now go. Now don't go too far left here. Now I don't remember all of the split times, but subjectively this feels pretty good. It feels more grippy, more nimble than the other cars so far. Well, maybe not that much more nimble than the Armor, but definitely more so nonetheless. It's just so secure through the corners. A little bit of understeer mid-corner, but 243.7 is the lead for now, but we've only had 3 cars and we got 11 more to go. I don't have a wing, I'm going to end up in the barrier. Yep, you might. Next up, a very interesting car, the Black Panther, so let's load that in. So this is made by Genja FT, who, by the way, won the last season. Okay, so the Black Panther is one of the naturally aspirated cars in the field here. I think it's a V6. We'll We'll hear it shortly. I think that's a V6. It's very quiet too, and very simplistic. But as we're driving, I think that fake rear end is just looks so good. The front of this car is so grippy. It is super nimble. You just might have trouble fitting through here. There we go. How are we looking downforce-wise? We have an area wing that I can see. Oh yeah, this is good. Considering this is one of the least powerful cars in the field, like this goes like hell. Like, look at it go. It's so low to the ground that I'm a little bit scared here, but it's actually safer than I think it would be. Okay, that was late on the brakes. That was my fault. All four wheels spinning off the right off the line, and that's with a naturally aspirated engine. That's how you do it right. Okay, but yeah, this thing, I think this shows that. Oh no, bad line there. I thought I could sneak through, but the car is too wide. But yeah, this car shows that Genja FT once again is gonna be a top contender. Oh no. Well, I'm gonna reset there. I'm sorry, this was just bad driving there. It's not because the car is bad, it absolutely isn't. Man, why can I no longer get into the rhythm with this car? There we go. Did I just lose an aerodynamic fixture there? like an under tray maybe, a front splitter or something like that. Also, why are the mirrors red when everything else is black? I don't know, that may have been an oversight, but anyway. This thing looks sick and it's absolutely crazy here in the fast stuff. It's a Boxer 6 engine actually, this one, isn't it? Now that I've listened to it enough, I'm pretty sure it's a Boxer engine. Let's not brake too late again. Instead I was a bit too early there, but that's still okay, we still made it through. Thankfully we can go through that stop sign. Don't ever do that in real life, by the way. Imagine living in one of those houses and then seeing those cars flying by at like 100 miles an hour plus. I think for safety reasons they would probably have to leave their houses for the duration of that race, wouldn't they? Anyway, surprisingly this is not the fastest car so far. It was super quick. It felt quicker than it actually ended up being. But still, respectable second place behind the BAC for now. Next up, the CMA Sport R. This is the only car I haven't driven yet, because it was submitted last and actually pretty close to the deadline. This was sent in by Discord user FoxyFox. Okay, and once the car is loaded, we can take a closer look at it. I'm starting to realize that I've made my gears too short. I don't know. I mean, I had that same impression driving your car, but at the same time, like, this is pretty much the only time when top speed is even gonna get close to being relevant here in this season, so I think you're gonna be fine. So this is also a very colorful and very racy looking car with a naturally aspirated V6 under the bonnet. However, this V6 only makes 235 horsepower. The car is also very tall, as you can see. The ride height is very high up there, and so it might, I don't know how the roll angle is, so it might be just fine, or it could just roll too much in the corners. We'll see. doesn't roll that much, but it just understeers. So they effectively made an Audi, but not, you know, the one we all know from Group B. Oh, okay, sorry for that. Hey, Gato Gamer 12, how's it going? Gotta use the handbrake more with this thing. Even on the corners you normally wouldn't use them on. Like here I always use the handbrake anyway, cause or here. Always use the handbrake. Unfortunately, the split time isn't looking that good, is it? Here we would really need the extra 200 horsepower from all those stickers. Oh yeah, and we would need something other than understeer as well. No, don't take me down to that city, please. Please don't. Little Scandi flick. We don't really have that much downforce on this either. I know this has a wing and, well, at least one wing that I can see, and one lip at the rear. But the front doesn't seem to have very much downforce, so yeah. So the understeer is worse in the high speed corners than it is in the lower speed ones. But overall, I think this car is just even though this was the last car that was submitted, and so technically the user had the most time out of all of them, I think this just could have used another hour or two of work and testing. I also noticed that what is this rev to, like 7800 or so? And the peak power, if I remember correctly, comes in at like 7600 or even 7700, so only 100 or 200 RPM before the peak, or before the red line is where the peak is, and so the red line could have been increased. That would have made the car quicker. I mean, there is clearly some extra power in this 2-liter V6, as we have other 2-liter naturally aspirated cars here that make more power than this, but even when keeping the same power and torque curve, you could still increase the red line by a few hundred RPMs and make the car accelerate quicker that way. That was just a little drift tap. But yeah, this... come on! Oh, come on. That was the entrance barrier to Understeer City right there. We paid the price. We paid the price, yeah. Anyway. Next up, the Falcon NS430. So it still would have been over 3 minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Hey Genja, how's it going? Your car is actually not. It's really good to drive. It is currently in second place, but you're still doing well. You're apologizing in advance, but I don't know. We'll see how you do. This, by the way, I think is the most powerful car in the field. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it a bit more closely once it actually finishes loading. So again, very boxy 80s sort of look. Rally stripes everywhere and very aggressive looks overall. I think it looks awesome. And this turbo inline 5 actually makes 430 horsepower. From a 1.4 liter. Come on, we stalled the engine. And then I reset the camera again, because V is the button to turn on the engine, and then C is the button to... C is right next to it, and C changes camera, so quickly hitting V might also hit C, and that's obviously no good. Come on now. I was on the throttle as well as I downshifted. That was normally my remedy for this issue, but not here. Okay, we're past this corner. This is where this car should shine. But it understeers a little bit here. Can't even go close to flat out there. Had to lift. It shut off again. I drifted without engine. That's gotta be a first as well. I don't think too many people have done that before. I don't think this would happen in the real life as well. Just brake hard and then the engine stalls like 248.2. Down on the D-pad is to start the engine. I know that much, and in fact, when I first had this happen, I thought that maybe the down on the D-pad was somehow activating by itself, and that's why I disabled that keybind in the BeamNG options. But now that I know it's not that, you know, I know what I'm gonna continue with these settings for now, but I'm gonna change it before the next race to keep it fair for everyone. Next up, the help in score pane group B is made by Animated Gaming. Okay. So, as far as the car balance on the Falcon goes, it's actually pretty good. It does understeer a little bit in that fast stuff. It feels like it could maybe use a little bit more front downforce. But apart from that, it was actually pretty good. I don't know why you would have to. Like, it's not a car that would warrant an apology from your end. But anyway. So yeah, this is the help in score pane group B, made by Animated Gaming. This makes 382 horsepower. And I think this is the only inline-4 engine in the field. This does feel rock solid here. Let's not die here. This rear end definitely looks sort of 80s Group B slash sort of spaceship look. Definitely looks very intimidating and aggressive. You know this car is fast when you see that rear end, and it's probably all you're gonna see from the car anyway. This car is too fast down the straight. Well, there's no such thing as it being too fast, but you know, it was a more convenient way for me to say I was late on the brakes. 248.6. Oh, actually not as quick as I thought it was gonna be. Look at how close everything is here. Like from third to seventh, which is my own car. It's within a second. Next up, the Jidosha K Setsu Tsoku R2. Very long name. And let me see. I think this is also a naturally aspirated car. I normally hit the wall at the first gas station doing over 200 and just the stalling. Yeah. Like, I know that eventually I probably wanna buy a wheel, but the problem is right here. You know, this is my desk with which I also have for my home office job, and I don't really have much space for the pedals in between. So, and also right in front of me I have my mouse and keyboard, which I always need, and I would always have to move those and then put the wheel there, and then it would be a little bit cumbersome here. I don't have a separate desk where I could build that up. I don't have a separate PC. This, by the way, naturally aspirated inline 6, sort of family car body, but two-tone paint job and somewhat race inspired. But under the hood is only a 203 horsepower inline 6, so welcome back to Understeer City. Gotta use the handbrake. Okay. It does look good, this car, yeah. I like it, but I think the best looking car is still to come. Oh, interesting, and here it does sort of oversteer. It doesn't have a lot of downforce. Back in line. Okay, now that... Now, unlike the 235 horsepower car, naturally aspirated car we had a moment ago, this doesn't actually feel slow. It doesn't feel as fast as some of the other cars we've had, but it doesn't feel underpowered like the other car. But it feels like it could definitely use some more work on the suspension and aerodynamics. probably doesn't feel underpowered because it has relatively short gearing. Come on now. G-force meter was all over the place there as we hit that barrier. Oh no, come on! I'm not gonna give this car a DNF though. Because I can absolutely finish with this. Well, not if I do that though. Bad line through there as well. Okay, now here it's gonna lose some time versus the competition. But anyway, back to the topic of buying versus not buying a wheel and pedals for games like BeamNG. I mean, obviously it would take quite a while for me to get used to the wheel and pedals, even though I am very used to driving real cars, of course. It's just not the same, you know. Here in racing games, I'm just used to a controller. That's just how it is. I'm consistent, and so is this car. Should have expected that, honestly. And no, I don't actually think this car is rear-wheel drive. I think it's all-wheel drive. Okay, now I damaged some suspension by just driving against the curb there pretty slowly, so that's BeamNG for you. There we go. That's how you take that corner in this car. Now we only got one more corner to worry about. Actually two. This one. And then the one with the wall. Okay. Careful now. Off throttle. There we go, now we can feed it in. Calculate it. $257. I don't know how many times he nailed the curb for no damage, but that one slow knock and boom in sound of alignment. Yeah, exactly. That's those were my thoughts as well. Right there. Next up, the Legion Songbird 4XA16V Ti. Pretty long name. But this one is gonna be quite competitive, I have a feeling, because this one's made by Donut Snail, who won the 1964 season and also won Pikes Peak in the 1972 season. So his cars have a pretty good history here. Okay. Let's see. Is it just me, or does BeamNG take longer than usual to load the cars into the level? Oh, I was lying actually. This is also an inline 4. The Scorpion wasn't the only inline 4 after all. So this looks like a pretty badass off-road wagon. Gold rims. And a 302 horsepower turbo inline 4 under the hood. Oh, it just takes forever in Italy. Whoa! Okay. Steady. This is the opposite of understeer city. This car has so much front grip, I gotta get used to that. Oh, come on, yeah. Only one mirror because weight reduction, yeah, exactly. But do you see that? No hesitation, no signs of understeer there at all. That extremely grippy front end might actually end up hurting me in some situations. For example, when I'm drifting and it all of a sudden it's gripping up, and because the front is so grippy, I might end up going the opposite way. I hope I can avoid that though, but look at that. Would like a 6th gear at this point. The front end of this car turns in so freaking quickly. $243.8. Is that the lead? No, it's not quite. 1/10 behind the BAC Raider, and just ahead of the Black Panther. Wow. Super, super close this race. As I told you at the start, like this, all of these cars are really, really good. Except one maybe, and that's not this one. This as well is gonna be a big contender, I think. Oh man, yeah. But while this is loading, before we get into the LLMC car, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, welcome back everyone. So, this is the LLMC Martini 004, and it has a turbocharged straight 6 with 300 horsepower, and it looks awesome. Like this is a really well done paint job. Obviously inspired by the real world sort of Martini liveries from the 70s and 80s. It's very cool, very well done. Got that sort of 80s spaceship look going on from the rear as well. No understeer in this bad boy either, but a bit unstable. So that might just be the short wheelbase. And this is actually the only car in the field that is right at the minimum weight limit of 820 kilograms. So this is the lightest car here. Whoa! It's a drifty boy. I was expecting a bit more downforce from it. Hey Sklop, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. I'm doing good, but now here we have a car that has a lot of potential, I feel like, but is let down by a lack of downforce, so... Come on now. Oh, did I miss that checkpoint? Really gotta balance the throttle there through those high-speed corners. Because I think this could still set a very quick time. Oh, come on, now the engine shuts off. We're doing a series called the Classic Rally Competition, Sklope, so that has been going on for about 2 months now. We arrived in the 80s, as you can see. This is the first season of Group B. Started in 1957. And we're gonna keep going through Group B. And then we're gonna do another series that is somehow based on a real world racing series, but I haven't decided which one yet. As with the previous car, I wish I had a 6th gear. Oh no. Still caught it. Somehow. I was in 5th gear there. That's short gearing. Oh, yikes. That would have been lethal. I kid you not, Tom. Snow has turned itself into a potato. It's called Snow-tato. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream. I actually saw a Lancia Stratos one time. I didn't even know how rare they were back then. Dude, a Stratos is so sick. It's such a great car. Thank you for the follow, Snow-tato. Oh, shit. I'm actually not new to your content in general. I remember when you made replicas of in real life cars in automation. Yeah, I used to do that. Perhaps if I have more time in the future, I might get back to that, as obviously the game is in a completely different state right now, and it's on a new game engine and stuff like that, so All the cars you see here, by the way, were also made in automation by my viewers, so that's kind of the gist of this community competition. They make them in automation, send the files over, you know, I make the rules, and then I drive the cars. Come on now. Okay, suspension still intact. Suspension is still intact, even after that jump. So this engine feels torquer than I think it actually is. That's just because of the short gearing. Drive slowly this time. So, Low Life Max Camber, if you're here in the chat, I wonder if you actually test drove the car with more downforce, or did you never actually try out adding more downforce to a car? Yeah, the thing that makes this car tricky to drive is that is two things. One is the very short wheelbase, and two is the lack of downforce. Next up is what I think it will probably end up being the slowest car in the competition, unfortunately, but it might surprise me as well. Question: once we reach the late 90s, do we make 300 horsepower four-wheel drive to rally cars, or can we do kit cars too? So I have no plans on getting to that point anyway, because I feel like the real rally sport kind of died when Group B ended, and so, you know, these days rally cars are just there are too many regulations in place. You know, you have to have a 1.6 liter inline four-cylinder engine. The turbo can only be this size. You can only have 4 valves per cylinder, no variable valve lift. The engine has to make this exact number of horsepower. Yada yada yada. It's too strict, and so on the mechanical side of things, the cars are mostly the same. Sure, there are different suspension setups and different gear ratios maybe, but overall it's too much of the same thing in my opinion these days. So by the way, this car says "Good luck, Hanks" at the rear. So I think you know what's coming up now. This is rear-wheel drive, by the way. And I think it's an inline three engine. And it makes 315 horsepower. This is the M3 Dank by Discord user Walt, by the way. Yeah, exactly. In today's rallying, it's all about the driver, but you know, in these sort of community challenges, the driver is always me. So, you know. You can make a Fantasy Group B continuation. And, you know what? You're not the first to come up with that idea. I have had that thought as well, but the real problem I have is I have with that is it's not that it's not realistic. I don't care that much about that, but the real problem I have is what tracks would we drive on, and because I don't want to drive on the same tracks every time, and obviously I can repeat some tracks from time to time, like Pikes Peak, for example, is in this season as well, even though we had it last time. But a lot of the tracks that we had in the earlier season, like Italy Mixed Hill Climb, I mentioned earlier, that I really don't want to go there in like a 600-700 horsepower Group B car, you know, because I'm just gonna die. And there aren't that many sort of mixed or even hill climb stages that that we could realistically use. $325.7. No, this is one of the. This is not the 1965 body that you probably mean here. This is one of the later bodies. I think it unlocks in like 72, 73 or something. So this one's fine. Next up, the Miranda Senator Coupe 1.4. Yeah, there's another very similar one that that unlocks later, and I'm pretty sure it's that one. A 1600 horsepower monster might be a bit of a handful in Italy. I mean, 1600 horsepower. I mean, yeah, obviously that would be a bit of a handful. Frankly, anywhere, but especially in Italy. But yeah, this is the Miranda Senator. Miranda Senator Coupe. 1.4 turbo 4-cylinder. So the third 4-cylinder actually. And this makes 413 horsepower, so this is the second most powerful car in the competition. And if you're about to ask why I don't redline it up to 12,000, is because after 11 the power on this engine drops so severely that the car nearly comes to a stop. So that's why I only go up to 11. This car could also use a little bit more downforce, but I think it's just about fine. But we'll see it here. Yep, just about fine. I thought the engine stalled there for a second. So this is not gonna take top spot or even top 3. 4th place though, very close to the Armor Rallyhawk. Next up we have the Taka SPR. A very simple looking car. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, now that you guys are here, we can maybe discuss this a little bit as well. So we're gonna do. I've decided 2 more seasons in Group B. Then we're gonna close up. Then we're gonna wrap up the rally-inspired racing series with a sort of tuning kind of challenge. But it's based on a real-world scenario, and after that I want to do another real-world inspired racing series. So I was thinking of Le Mans cars up until and including Group C, because everything that came after we can't really do in automation. But if you guys have any other suggestions of something that we can actually do in automation, because obviously F1 isn't gonna happen, then I'm open for further suggestions as well. So this is the Taka SPR. It's got a 186 horsepower inline-4. Yes, 186 horsepower, making this the least powerful car in the field. Did I miss that checkpoint, really? I missed it again. Some kind of sports car through the ages would also be cool. Yeah, but I want the cars to be somewhat, you know, comparable with some parameters. Because obviously with a sports car you can make pretty much any car into a sports car within reason, of course. Like you can't take, you know, a Unimog and turn it into a sports car. You can take an ordinary car and make it faster and call it a sports car, or you can develop a sports car from scratch, you know. And there are different approaches. Like you can make a very light car with a small engine, and that's a sports car. Or you can take a bigger car with a powerful V8 or something and make that a sports car as well. But I want the cars to be somewhat comparable without restricting too much. Oh, come on. Keep making challenges and I'll keep making cars. That's great to hear. So yeah, I was gonna say, this may be the least powerful car in the field. But it doesn't feel like it's gonna be the slowest. Subjectively. Oh. T-Bool and 199, thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying your time on the stream. This is one of the last cars as well. I think it's second to last. This thing is actually sort of flying here. Definitely had worse through these corners. Yeah, I mean, this is really not that bad. Even though it is the least powerful car in the field, it doesn't feel that way. Lucky me. Didn't get destroyed. Still caught the checkpoint. Okay, now. Good line through here. And 249.8. That's only 10th place. Look at the times here. From like 4th to 9th. It's like barely over a second. There's some nice new LM car mods in open beta. Big wing McGee over here don't fit down the track. Yeah. Sure, how was everyone's Sunday? So my Sunday was actually pretty unexciting so far, but except for this stream, of course. That's definitely the highlight of the day for me. Mafia 1 Remastered. It's a full remake. Yeah. Championship race could be really exciting this season. Yeah, absolutely. Like it's you can see like there was 6 cars within a second of each other here, and it's gonna be very close in all of the other races as well. I think it's pretty safe to assume that, and that also means that if you come like 4th in one race, you can be basically just as good in the next race from how good the car drives, and yet be a little bit unlucky and you're down in 8th, so I still think that the first 2-3 cars are still gonna be battling out for the win, so they're still gonna be battling amongst each other. But the rest of the field is going to be very, very tightly packed. So this is the last car we have here, the Vista Rally V6 with a naturally aspirated V6. It's a rally wagon, sort of Volvo inspired, kind of. V6, naturally aspirated, 270 horsepower, all-wheel drive, I think. Definitely all-wheel drive. Okay, so here I can't see the bonnet of the car, so I never know exactly when to turn because the car is so long. But anyway, this car weighs 1200 kilograms, so it's by far the heaviest here, but the weight distribution is a perfect 50-50, and it shows. Like, this car handles actually very well. Made it through that turn. And the short gearing somewhat offsets the high weight. Okay, so the car is a little bit unstable there in the high speeds. I think I can manage though. Come on now. Brake. That's the most difficult corner of the whole lap. I would say in any car, but especially in this. Pretty wide line through there, but we're okay. Okay, let's go now. Down the hill. Up another hill. Brake. Across that bridge. And towards the finish line, but we have pretty mean corner here. Took it well. 252.2. Yes, I'm using a controller. So that unfortunately puts this in 11th place. I think 10th actually, because my car is somewhere here. Yeah, 10th. Okay, so we have a winner by a whisker. That's the BAC Raider. So I'm gonna pull up my spreadsheet. We've got 14. We've got 14 cars this time. I think I'm gonna go with 12 points for first place, and then 1 point for 12th place, and then no points for the last two. Okay, so the BAC Raider, first place, 12 points. Next up was the Legion Songbird. Second place, 11 points. Third place is going to be the Black Panther. Where is it? There it is. Third place, 10 points. Fourth place, the Senator. Next up, the Armor Rallyhawk. Then the Falcon, 6th place. Seven points. Then the AZLK, 7th place, 6 points. Then the Halpin Scorpion, 8th place, 5 points. Yeah, my own car doesn't count. Then the Taka SPR, 9th place, 4 points. Then 10th place for the Vista Rally, 3 points for you. Then the LLMC, disappointingly only in 11th place, 2 points. Then the Chidosha, snagging the last point by coming 12th. And then no points for the CMA, And no points for the M3 Dank. Okay. It is indeed going to be a very close one. Like, this is gonna be, this almost definitely gonna be the closest series yet. Yeah, it's like this race alone. I think these two, the Raider, the Songbird, and the Panther, these three, I think they are still. I think they still showed to be slightly ahead of the others. So I think these three are still gonna be the top three in the next races as well. But I could be wrong, and we might see a surprise in the next race or the race after that. Who knows? So I'm not gonna drive the Pantera here. I'm gonna wrap this up by giving my own car another shot. Obviously, it doesn't count anyway towards the standings, but just to talk a little bit more about, amongst ourselves. And yeah, so the next stream is gonna be next Saturday at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, and then the third and final race is gonna be next Sunday at the same time. And yeah, after that we will have another season of Group B, and after that we're gonna have another season of Group B. I'm looking forward to that. Having already built the next and the car after that for like my own cars for the next two seasons, it's gonna be good. I can tell you that much. It's gonna be good. I can't tell you more just yet. Hell yeah, more Group B. Should have made the gearing shorter on this car. And this car, by the way, has a power oversteer basically on demand. So look at that, just turn and gas, and it's oversteering. Only on gravel though. It's not. It doesn't have that crazy sort of rear biased power distribution that it would also do that on asphalt. But it definitely does it on gravel. Any more suggestions for like real world race series that we could try and replicate in automation for future challenge series, besides maybe Le Mans cars? Ideally, I'd like something that's gonna have at least a few seasons that are gonna be different from each other, so we can have a few weeks worth, maybe even a few months worth of streams with that, and really get into the atmosphere, you know. Oh. Um. I wasn't expecting that. They have touring car championships. We could do some of that as well. Yeah, that's a good shout. Do keep in mind, by the way, that yes, my first run was down here, but that was the run where I had a 360 spin uh, near the end. So this was a clean run, and it actually came out on top. I mean, I knew the car was good. Um, not to toot my own horn too much, but I worked on this car quite a lot, and it's obviously because it's my car. I tuned it exactly I tuned it to drive exactly the way that I wanted to drive, which is of course personal preference. But I still, you could see that even in the fast bits, it was flying, and that's with quote unquote only 270 horsepower, which is a lot less than some cars here, but it has quite a bit of mid-range torque, unlike most other turbocharged cars here, and I think that's the secret. That's why this is so competitive here. Sure, you can make like a very peaky turbo engine and increase the redline as well to kind of have a longer power band once you do hit the boost. But when you have a slower corner, that's just the first gear corner in low RPMs, like the tight hairpin about halfway through this course. You're just, or some of the corners at the very start, then you're just off boost and you're gonna lose a lot of time even getting to the point at which your engine hits boost. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Next stream is going to be on next Saturday, as I said, and then on Sunday I'm going to stream as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. For those of you who are new to the stream and haven't followed yet, make sure to follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this as well, because these VODs are going to go up on YouTube. And I hope to see you guys again next Saturday. Until then, have a good one and see you next time. Bye bye.